an amazing moment. Like, this is one of the best moments. You know, it's relaxing, you know, when you are at your home place, your own place. When you look around, most of the things you're seeing here, or these establishments, this is a new establishment. You know, I was keeping birds, like I've kept telling you, and when you're listening to my story, I was keeping birds, but it was a rented space and it had its own hurdles. But through saving, working hard, saving over years, we were able to acquire this property, and everything you're seeing around me here is built by my two hands, actually designed. And today, on a small space, just a quarter an acre, we are keeping 5,000 birds to the point of lay. Then we'll dispose 2,000 and we'll be left with 3,000 birds to lay. Now, the purpose of this video actually was to show you, or is to show you how you can build a simple, affordable chicken house. All right? It shouldn't necessarily be like mine, yes, but I will try to give you mine in a version that is simple, cheap, and affordable, especially for a starter. Well, you've been seeing this space in most of our videos. When the truck was coming in bringing chicks, it used to reverse up to here, and then we could get the chicks from here. We could take them here. Now, today, I want to show you a simple layout, okay, of how you can utilize a small space. If you are new to our YouTube channel, guys, come on, I'm back. Subscribe, like, and share as much as you can this video. And by the way, I'm super excited by the launch of our masterclass. People have started buying the masterclass, enrolling as students, and I love the comments. I'm giving out the courses at a half price. Whatever you see on the website, those are the prices that are half. So be lucky. Get there, get the masterclasses. You'll also be of advantage because I'll add you to my own personal WhatsApp group where I talk to my students, and I'll be reachable to you any other time you want. You just give me a call or drop me a text. Quickly, let's go into the episode. Now, space is an issue. At the same time, I want to stay with my birds on the farm. It's my space. I want to stay here, and I want my birds to be here. So I have to build a structure that is going to be meeting scientific requirements, like the birds have to be super comfortable so that I can get those eggs that I need. At the same time, I have to be on the same space so that I cannot have that fall smell. Now, you can see here, we have the gate, okay? We have a footbath, but now a foot deep, but from outside, okay? Because as I was doing this wall here, I left a space like 4 meters from outside all around. The reason was to have my foot dip and vehicle dip outside, or rather wheel dip outside. Now, when you just enter, here, as you can see, we're having blocks here, so we are still doing much construction. The little money we get, we put it here and there. So we want to build here a small wall. It will not be a tall wall, just be a brief wall, short wall, and then I'll do a wire mesh or a chain link on top or above it. That is basically to separate the farm with the operation area for biosecurity practices. The good thing about it is, I'm not allowing visitors on the farm today. Myself, when I'm coming from Kitale, coming to the farm, I don't just come in, then I get to the birds, all right? When I come to the farm, I don't actually, because already the vehicle has been disinfected at the foot dip, so I go straight to the house. I will not access the farm that day until I shower, change, then I'll access the farm the following day. Now, this is our store. Oh, this is our water tank, and this is our store. Our store has a capacity of holding close to 700 bags of 50 kilos. So then we have such a big store purposely because today we're having feed. We're having feed at the lowest price because we have plenty of maize in production. So we love to have a good storage whereby we can have feed enough to take us for a couple of months. At the same time, we can store our eggs right here. That was not the subject of the discussion today. The subject of the discussion today was how we can build a simple, cheap, and affordable chicken house. Now we get there. This one you see here is our flock house. The flock house is divided into two portions. Actually, I've divided it into a portion that can hold 3,000 birds at laying point and 1,000 birds at laying point. But now, as of now, because the birds are at pullet stage, not yet at laying, the entire structure will hold 5,200 birds. The reason why I have 5,200 birds is we just kept these birds so that at point of lay, we can dispose 2,000 and we left with 3,000. That is the maximum holding capacity. Good. This is a structure, as simple as you can see it. When you're building a structure, there are things you pay attention to. And the first guiding principle in building a structure is how much do you have? Then, secondly, is the conditions. I mean the climatic conditions around your area, and mostly the temperature conditions. That could be a highland or a lowland. Those are the things now that would guide you. We encourage starters to build a poultry farm with the simplest available resources as possible. Now, where I am here, we are at a mid-altitude area. It is not very hot, neither is it very cold. So that gives me an advantage, and I will show you the advantage. Now, in an area that is very hot, if I was at the coast, at the Mombasa, or I was near the shores at very low altitudes, then it could be very hot. So when I was building my house, I could have this ventilation on both sides, at the rear and at the front. But you see, where I am here, I'm trying to use every resource that I have to the simplest and to make sure that my flock house meets the scientific requirements. Very well. With me here is a measuring tape. When you're building a house, it doesn't matter what material you're going to use. Here I've used building blocks. But for you, you can use iron sheets. These building blocks I have here were the leftovers of what I had when I was building my house. So I put them to use by using them to build this chicken house. Okay? So to me, the building blocks had no much work at this point. Now, our chicken house, I want you to note that, has only a vent groove at the front on one side. But at the rear, there is no wall. The reason why there's no vent. The reason why we have got no vent at the rear are two. One, that was my fence, or is my fence. But I put it into use just by having it as part of my chicken house at the rear side, so that I can cut the cost. So you can use your fence at home in building your chicken house. But someone will say, in your previous episodes, you say that a chicken house must be east-west direction. What if I build this house in this alignment, but then this is my east and this is my west? And of course, this is my east and this is my west. The sun rises this side and sets this side. How are you going to manage the sun rays? You'll find that when it's about 4 p.m., 4, 5, around there, these birds would tend to come forward to this front part, then bask. By basking, actually, we have stampede. At first, before I had shown my guys how to solve that, we almost had some losses here. But we were able to rescue the birds, separate them in the sick bay, then they recovered. Then we brought them back. Now, if you're building your house, a chicken house, in the north-south direction, that means that the sun will be shining directly to the chicken house. You must have these curtains put at the top. The function for these curtains here is not in any way to control or regulate temperature, like it's too cold, it's too hot. No, the function for these curtains here are actually to regulate light flow. So if you build a chicken house in the south-north direction, you must have these curtains. Now, I'll just demonstrate to you briefly after this how we do it. Now, when the sun is almost setting, you open these curtains. You see we have pegs here with wire, and we have pegs there with wire. So you untie them, then loosen them to drop. So you'll come and hook them somewhere here. Don't drop these curtains directly to touch here. You spread the curtains towards this direction. So that when the curtains are spread towards this direction, we have airflow going into the chicken house, but then the sun will hit the curtains and will provide shade. Get that point? But if we had this chicken house in the east-west direction, automatically we could not have that challenge of having too much sun rays inside. Now, only build a chicken house with ventilation on one side if you are in mid-altitude going to high altitude. In fact, for farmers who are doing production in high altitudes, mountainous regions, cold areas, your chicken house should only have the grill at one side. This will help you in regulation of temperature. It will make the structure a bit warmer. Here it's a bit cold, like now when we're doing this episode, it's cold. So you can see our birds are spread evenly without us dropping the curtains, simply because one side is covered. But when you're building such a chicken house, you really have to pay attention to the flocking density. Okay? In school, we are told that this window or this grill should be 6 feet. But you see, ours has an extension. If I take it up, it will be 7 feet. Let me just take it up. If I take it further up to the iron sheets, it will be 7 feet. We have extended that. Reason being, we want to try and maintain a population of 8 birds per meter square. Like I said in the other videos, if you want to increase the stocking density per meter square, then automatically you got to increase the ventilation. Well, ventilation is taken care of. Then what should be the distance from the floor to the grill? It has to be 3 feet, but because we've tried to reduce, or we've increased the vent distance, then automatically it will come to 2 feet. The distance from the floor to the grill. We are doing that because we are having a very high stocking density. So when you're building your chicken house, the only things that you pay attention to are the positioning of the grill, the direction, the north, south, east, west direction, the distance of the front wall from the floor to where it is, and you pay attention to the altitude. The altitude. In the masterclass, I've explained to you how you can build, or the design you can build a chicken house. Let's say in a mountainous or a highland region. This distance from the floor to this point would vary, and that would vary depending on where the location of the structure is going to be. Now, when you look here, you've seen me open the door. This one is, to you, it might look like a new technique of us having the door open half. I've explained to you in the other episodes of the reason why we've had this door in this manner. Now, I wanted just you to have a look at the inside of the structure. Now, it is very important that the distance from the floor to the roof should be at least, like the least is 9 feet. You can use iron sheets to build this wall. Then you can put here this wire mesh, and then you look at the millimeters we are using in building this wire mesh. This wire mesh is 1/2 inch. You can use 1 inch, like this one here, to 1/2 inch in terms of the diameter. So you can have iron sheet, any iron sheet. You can have used iron sheet, you can have second-hand iron sheet for the side. But for the top, you can use also any iron sheet, but it strictly should be new. The reason why you're having new iron sheet is because you don't want any leakages. Now, there's a very important point I want you to note. Look at this distance. Let me just use this one. The distance from the wall to where we have the iron sheet dropping water. We actually have supposed to have gutters here, which will help us harvest rainwater and save on that. But I'm not doing the harvesting of the rainwater to use on the flock simply because I've had an instance whereby when the rains come in the early phases here in Nakuru, you find that the rainwater is black, and that is because of pollution. So I don't really use the rainwater to give the birds. But if you're in a place whereby the rainwater is good, then I could have harvested the rainwater and stored it for use. Especially it's very good to be used during vaccinations and such times. Now we get back to the class, the episode, where we see this one can be any material. It can be iron sheet, it can be building blocks, it can be bricks. As only when it rains, this place cannot get soaked and then the wall collapses. Okay? We are using these pillars, which are treated poles. The width of the pillars will depend on the magnitude and the size of the timber you are using for the roofing. Now, you can use round poles to make your trusses. It's not a must to use timber, simply because you're cutting on costs. These iron sheets I'm using here are not those very expensive iron sheets like you don't. I'm not building a residential unit. I'm building a chicken house. So you can use the simplest iron sheets. You can use this chicken wire, and you can use also iron sheets for this place. The only place you have to pay much attention to is the floor. The floor. You've got to pay much attention to the floor. You can use any type of flooring as long as the drainage is good. When there is some leakage, the water will drain off easily without us having the bedding soaked. So guys, there's no rocket science in building a chicken house. It is as simple as that. There is no rocket science in building a chicken house. It is just doing, actually we call it a shed. You know, just build your chicken house with a simple roofing, simple walls. If you are in a hot area, then you should have this grill on both sides, measuring the same, 6 feet, 6 feet. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I invite as many questions as you can. Drop the questions and I'll keep them answered. Oh, I promised to demonstrate to you how then we control the lighting inside the chicken house. So let me show you how it's done. You'll just open here, and you'll open here, and then you'll pull down these curtains, and then you'll peg them there, and also peg them here. And that is how simple your chicken house will be. Nobody loves you like M Agriculture. Remember to be our student. Check out our masterclass on our website. I love you. Bye-bye.